All right, y'all. So another little project today. My wife wants to put this litter box right here in the house for our inside cat. This is an automatic litter box. We've had it for a little while now. It's been out in my shop. The one in the house has given us some problems. This one seems to be a little bit better. So we're going to try it out. So we're going to make a little video today about building a cabinet to cover this thing. She doesn't want, obviously it's ugly. She don't want to see it and don't want like guests and stuff to see it. It'll look a lot better in our laundry room if it's got a cabinet built around it. Right now we have a cabinet, but it's a piece of junk. It's like particle board stuff. And that's going away, and I'm gonna build a good one. See my plywood over here? We're using some paint grade 3/4 inch thick plywood and some trim. And we're gonna get this cabinet built and see how it turns out. Got all my little tools set up right here. We're gonna get started here in a minute. Okay, so the base of this cabinet is going to be to house the litter box, and then I'm going to have some uprights that go up the sides a little shallower with some shelves at the top to store like cat food and stuff like that. So you can see I have it laid out here. If you can see my layout lines, 2 foot by 2 foot, that's going to be the base and then the top. And then we're going to put some caster wheels like that underneath this base that is going to allow her to pull this out, and you'll see why later. It's next to a freezer, and she needs to be able to pull it out so that the litter box can slide out so she can clean it. It is a safe self-cleaning litter box, but you still have to change the bag and wipe it down and stuff every now and then. So that's the point of the way we're doing it. So I'm gonna get you set up, and we'll start making some cuts. Now, I do have a table saw, and you could rip this stuff down with a table saw. It's a lot more accurate. I like to use a straight edge with some clamps and then clamp it down and cut it. It's just a little more manageable to me than trying to, I don't have a huge table saw. I've got a mid-size one, so it's a lot easier to cut it this way. All right, that's the first cut, and then we'll cut this down the middle. All right, if y'all have never used that method, if you got to cut down big sheet goods, they make specialty tools that are like a track saw that your saw would run in. Right here, I have to offset a little over an inch, almost an inch and a half, because of the guard on my saw to get you a good straight cut. But you can see how good and nice and straight that is. It's hard to do that freehand when you're cutting down big sheet goods, and when you're trying to make a cabinet like this, it's so much easier than trying to run this to a table saw. Unless you have a big workshop that has big outfeed tables and stuff like that, this method works great. All you got to do is take your measurement from the edge of your saw right here to the blade, and then offset your straight edge by that much. So when you make your cut, it accounts for that guard on that. All right, this is gonna make up the front side and the back side, if that makes sense. I'll show you in a second. All right, I'll get that cut now.
Okay.
All right, so that makes up the top, the bottom, the front, the back. Now we need a piece for the very back side. That's going to make more sense later because one end is going to be open where she can pull that litter box, slide it out of that cabinet when she's got to totally clean it and do a really good clean on it, stuff like that. So we'll start getting that. All right, so we're just gonna shoot some sharp brad nails in it real quick just to get it together, and then I'm gonna come back and pre-drill and put some screws in it. So now we're gonna pre-drill and put about 3 screws down this side. All right, we're just using some, for this part, some 1 5/8. Kind of like a drywall screw there, interior screw. All right, we'll repeat that for the other side. And guys, if y'all haven't seen these right here, this is a little nail gun I got off the TikTok shop. We promote stuff on the TikTok shop, so there'll be a link to our showcase and stuff on the TikTok shop down in this video also. But this little gun right here will shoot up to, I think it's an 1 5/8 brad nail. It's all battery powered. It comes to you, you get a couple batteries and the nail gun and the case and some nails, and it's a really great value if you haven't seen them yet. We're gonna do the same thing right here. We're gonna pre-drill. In fact, there'll be a link to pretty much everything we use in this video, including these. Some people call them knockoffs, but they're not knockoffs. In so many senses of the word. They are really good batteries, replacements for your DeWalt batteries. I got those in my showcase also. And you can see I had one on that other drill, I've got one on this drill. We built that whole chicken coop out there using nothing but these batteries. And we have not had not one issue. So I like them, and they're a fraction of the cost of what it costs in a big box store just to get one. In fact, I think companies are ripping us off because it's the same exact stuff. But anyway, we're gonna get set up for the next part. All right, now we're gonna get the top put on. Same thing, a few brad nails and push against it a little bit. And now we'll put a few more screws in it. All right, y'all, now we gotta put the back. If y'all have watched any of our other videos, this is just a little break in the work. This is Mudbug. My son-in-law found him out in front of our property on the side of the road. He was as big as your hand, like he could fit.
4 weeks old.
Yeah, he was probably about 3 weeks old, but he was little bitty. Like, I don't know if he fell out of a vehicle, from under a vehicle or something like that, or how he ended up. But he was out in the middle of nowhere on the side of the road, in the mud, in the rain, and that's why we call him Mudbug. So he hasn't known anybody but us, and especially Mandy right there. And you can see that's her baby. Yes, so anyway, that's Mudbug. So y'all, we got the back on now. So now you can kind of see, and you know, this is getting painted. So everything's gonna get a little trim of caulking in the corners and a little wood filler over the screw holes and things like that before it gets painted. But that's where we're at right now. Now we got to figure out the top. We're gonna build some shelves up at the top. We got to figure. All right, now we're just finishing up putting some caster wheels on here, so she'll be able to roll it out like I was talking about earlier. All right, I do have to improvise and use some different screws that we had because this is only 3/4 of an inch thick, and those we put into the side, these longer screws, but then we're gonna, just to get that fourth screw in there, third and fourth screw, I'm gonna use some little self-drilling screws I have. I don't know if that's the right thing to use or not, but it don't matter, it's gonna hold. Just using a little self-tapping screw that won't go through the top, but it'll still let the wheel spin. So that's all it needs. All right, so that's the caster wheels on there. Now we're gonna stand it up and get us some measurement to build our. All right, guys, so now we are creating this top cabinet part, and did come up one piece of plywood short to make the top shelf, so we're gonna have to make a run here in just a minute and go get one more sheet of some 3/4 plywood. I have some particle board stuff in the shop that started to use for a second, and I thought more about it. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. So I'm not gonna do that. So we're going to just get this screwed off right here. We're gonna make a little run real quick. Go grab one more piece of plywood. It's hard to figure out something like this when you are trying to figure it up in your head of all the shelves and the top and the bottom and all that. And with plywood being close to $60 a sheet, you're not so quick to just, you know, oh, just grab 2 of them. You kind of say to yourself, well, I'm gonna make it work. But sometimes you come up a hair short, and that's okay. No big deal. We'll go grab us another sheet here in just a second. So what y'all seeing right now, they're there's gonna come up where the cat's feeder and stuff can be on the top. And then there's gonna be a shelf where she can store stuff, and then another top shelf, and then you'll be able to stack stuff up there also. So anyway, let's get this other side put on. And all right, so we're gonna get this part attached down to the top before we do anything else. It's just gonna make the pre-drill from underneath right here and screw it down. And we'll go buy another. I'm actually 2 pieces of plywood short, a piece for the top and a piece for the back. So if you want to make this, just know you probably just need to go ahead and buy 2 sheets of plywood, save yourself a trip. I guess I was being cheap, trying not to spend double what I had to. Because I've done that plenty in the past where I bought too many, and but it always gets used. We're always building something around here. But things are kind of tight right now, and I'm trying not to overspend when I ain't got to, especially for a kitty litter box. That makes sense. All right, y'all, so we made it back. We're gonna get this last couple pieces cut. It's starting to get dark on us, so we're trying to hurry up a little bit. But let me tell you something. Them stores must have lost their mind. It was $41 for one piece about this size, or $49 for the whole sheet. So even though I didn't need a whole sheet it was. You're not getting me like that. Anyway, let me get these last. Okay, so we got the back on, and now we're gonna screw down the top, and then a little bit of trim. Right behind you, boo. Grab a screw. Need you to get it squared up again. All right, a little bit more. Can you go a little bit more? All right, right there. All right, y'all, that's getting pretty close. Got 1 or 2 more screws to put in right here. And then we'll start on some trim work. All right, I'll come back when we start the trim. All right, y'all, so now we're just putting some little banding trim around here. This is not necessary, but just to make it look a little bit better, a little nicer. Get it flush. Ready? Yeah. Just 45 and around the corners. Okay. Push against the cabinet. Ready? Man, that little nail gun works great. All right, so now same thing. we're gonna trim out around this front right here. Good. Some cut this off. All right, that's that trimmed out around. So that's pretty much the finished look around here. Needs a little sand and whatever. Got to do some trim around the bottom now. All right, y'all, sorry about the lighting, but that is the basis of it right there. It's still got to be sanded and a little bit of caulking, you know, here and there, painter's caulk, so because it's all getting painted white. But you can see the litter box fits in there with a little bit of room to spare in case we happen to get a different one at some point. And got a couple nice shelves. And like I said, this is going to be the front part that you see. So it's got caster wheels on the bottom, and you can pull it straight out from beside. There's a freezer that's going to sit right there where the cat goes in and goes in the litter box. And we have to do that because of our dogs. If you don't have just a narrow enough space for the cat to get in, but the dogs can get in, then they get in the litter box. So we have just enough space for him to creep in and go. That's why we set it that way, facing the freezer. But anyway, not too bad, y'all, for afternoon's worth of work and a few dollars. Anyway, if you hadn't subscribed to the channel, please check us out. We make little content like this at random and post it here on our channel. So thank you for watching Crocs and Socks, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.